About 3 years ago, I made a video describing the starter theory. In this theory, I predicted the next generation of Pokemon starters, and then I sat back and watched as other YouTube channels made similar videos reacting to viewers, while mine stayed around the 11 views mark. I watched a lot of these videos, and they all came to the same conclusions I did, to a point. While most talked about grass and water, no one else figured out the fire starter formula. So I figured with Pokemon Sun and Moon starters being revealed, why not see how my theory held up? Was I accurate in predicting these starters? And if so, what are my next generation starters going to be? Let us begin. Starting off with grass, I described a very vague and simplified timeline of evolution. We started with dog-like dinosaurs known as Dicynodont, then we went to sauropods, then theropods. From there we went to lizards, snakes, and then mammals. My prediction for the next generation then was a bird. Well, it was correct. Rowlet is obviously an owl, so check one. As for after the bird, well, like I said, primate seems the most likely. We could have an actual primate like a gorilla or a chimpanzee or even an orangutan. Seeing as orangutan means man of the forest, this would be extremely interesting concept-wise, and I would love to see it. But from there, where do we go? Well, Pokemon could go into aliens. It's been hinting at that for many years with its legendaries, but could also go into man-made Pokemon. We have an increasing number of man-made Pokemon like Mewtwo and Genesect, so I can see aggressive Pokemon ironically becoming less and less in touch with nature and more man-made and more mainstream as more and more man-made Pokemon go from legendaries to actual Pokemon you can find in-game multiples of easily. Moving on to water, I could only make a vague prediction of amphibious type animals. There isn't much to go off of here, but I suggested the next generation would be a platypus. Well, that was incorrect. We got a sea lion. You know, I'm not mad. A lot of people can complain that we had seal and Spheal, but Popplio is a sea lion. The difference between seal, Spheal, and Popplio, as well as an overlooked detail in my theory, was that the water starters, though at home in water and on land, are more at home on land. All of the starters have sturdy legs and evolve into creatures that get more and more sturdy as they evolve. While they can go into water, they aren't like, say, Magikarp, who can only flop around on land. As for Seal and Spheal, Seal is more like a manatee, a strictly underwater mammal, while Spheal is more like a seal or a walrus. An animal that is great in water, but very blubbery and slow once on land. A sea lion, however, has different anatomy, so it can stand in water on land. Its flippers are much more like legs, so it belongs more on land. So keeping this in mind, where does water go? Well, we can't have most other water-type animals. We're running out of them. There won't be a squid, fish, shark, or whale water starter, because they don't go on land. Platypus is still up in the air, but I'd say it'd be a better prediction to say something like a hippo, or a shorebird, like a loon, cormorant, or frigatebird. So again, it seems like water might go into bird territory, but it's already gone there, so water is going to be interesting to watch. I'm not really sure where it's going. I think hippo is best for now, because it's the only animal I can think of off the top of my head that has sturdy legs and can go both in water and on land, unlike the birds that have to fly. The only bird water type we have, for starters anyway, is a penguin. The only one that we either have otherwise is Wingull, which is a seagull. But I don't think they do that twice. So who knows where water's going? So fire, the most off the wall of all my theories. As stated, fire follows the Chinese zodiac, and guessed that a fire tiger would be next. Well, lo and behold, it is indeed a cat. We have Litten, whose name is going to confuse me forever because it's so close to Litleo. It looks like a black cat with stripes. I bet it because of Moltres as it evolved, maybe even becoming something of a saber-toothed tiger or Smilodon. So as for fire, where does this leave us? We have quite a few options left over. We have horse, ox, snake, rabbit, and sheep, as far as zodiac goes. This is an odd assortment of mostly herbivore animals, so I'm not sure if they're going to keep the trend up. I think snake is going to be the next one. Though I'd love to see a fire sheep, if it's anything like Mareep and how clever it is, I'm just not sure they're going to be able to do it, especially since we already have a fire horse. And I'm very wary if they're even going to continue with the horse-like animal. I mean, you have to do an ox still. And oxes and horses, maybe they'd combine them, but we can't even do a unicorn. Maybe it'd be a rhino. Have a rhino and a hippo and an orangutan starter. That sounds really, really, really weird. And I don't think they're going to go that way. So I don't really know what small animal they could make it into. This is really interesting. So I was right. 2 out of 3 were correct. I was not able to guess the water starter, sadly. Here's hoping we get our platypus. Let's hoping that we get Australia as a region someday. Hawaii's fine. I'm nothing against Hawaii, but we need more Australia. If you did Australia, you could have a platypus and a snake starter for fire, and it would be fine. So there you have it. My predictions were 2 out of 3 correct, which is good. And then, as for after this generation, I predict a hippo, a primate, and a snake. That's what my predictions are. I'll see you maybe in another 3 years when we get a new generation. You know, who knows? Who knows? So be sure to comment and like. You know, to subscribe. If you enjoyed this video or have a complaint about it or want to discuss it more with me, you can just do that. It's right in the bottom of the video. Just do that. Alright? And I'll see ya.